Big news, of course, this weekend, the Cowboys finally making a selection for next season's head coach. The announcement, well, that came late last night. Brian Schottenheimer set to move up from his offensive coordinator position. Joining us live this morning is our WFAA Sports reporter, Jonah Javad. Good morning, Jonah.
Good morning. It's nice to see this show.
I was just going to say, I don't think you've ever been live on a daybreak show in the morning, but this is big old news. Jonah, this announcement came very late last night, just about 12 hours ago. I guess, what have you learned in the time span from that big announcement?
Yeah, I think a lot of things were confirmed. I mean, a few days ago, Brian Schottenheimer became the front runner for the head coaching job of the Cowboys after he had 2 long interviews with the front office, and that was more than any other candidate to that point had had. And it was a bit surprising because during this coaching cycle in the NFL, there were a number of really coveted coaches. Ben Johnson, who went to the Bears, Liam Cohen, who went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's still some guys out there that are highly thought of throughout the league. What's notable to me the most, and a lot of people I'm sure will say this over the coming days in their reaction, is that Schottenheimer wasn't coveted by anybody else.
Right.
And that's what made this hire so odd. Was, do the Cowboys just know something different, or are they just doing what they've always done, which is kind of hire somebody that knows the drill, that knows the inner workings of the organization and is comfortable with that, but also it allows Jerry Jones in the front office to keep doing whatever they do. And Schottenheimer just has to fall in line, because if Schottenheimer was looked at by other teams, or maybe there was another team that was interested in him,
he would have
raised his value. Yeah, it would have created a bidding war. It would have been having to pay him more money to kind of win his services. And so the Cowboys didn't have to do that. They were just bidding with themselves. He had never been a head coach before in the NFL, so he's eager for that opportunity. And so the Cowboys, therefore, promote him to that role. And you know, a lot of fans are waking up this morning and probably not enthused. I haven't seen a lot of positive reaction.
That's where I was getting to, Jonah. I mean, from what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing, it looks like a lot of fans, they just seem a little upset, a little disappointed with this decision.
Yeah, and I don't blame them, because there were, in my estimation, better options out there, or at least, I shouldn't say better, because we don't know what he's going to be as a head coach just yet. And I think it would be wrong for any of us to assume that, the same way it's wrong for us to assume draft picks are going to be bad before they even step on the field. But we can only go by what we know. And Schottenheimer's coached the NFL in various roles for 20 plus years, and he's never been elite at any of them.
Oh,
if he had been, the number 1 offensive coordinator, or had the number 1 offense for multiple years or something like that, like Ben Johnson, and that would make more sense. It would make people feel better. But really, the only reasoning that makes sense, and I think I mentioned it earlier in today's Daybreak show, is there's a level of comfort in his continuity with his quarterback. And that's what they're going to sell on Monday during this press conference when they introduce him as the next head coach, is that, hey, we've got Dak Prescott to this big deal. We don't want to shake things up and mess up the scheme and mess up the terminology and bring in this new offense and this new coach. This keeps things steady for Dak, allows him to be his best, and there's certainly a case for that. Come on, these are grown men. They can learn a new playbook. Wouldn't you want the coach who gives you the best chance and opportunity?
You would think so.
To a Super Bowl? You would think so. And again, that's where we go back to the disconnect.
Here we go.
The Jones family and the Cowboys front office views it as one thing. Fans view it as, how are you not turning over every stone, especially after the last 29 years?
Here we go again, Jonah.
We get a whole generation of fans that are, stuck in the mud, and I don't blame them. There's certainly cause for concern at this point, though. The only thing you can feel good about is that he's got no expectations. Everybody's expecting.
Jonah, okay, we gotta wrap this up.
Maybe it'll work out. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Jonah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was definitely a pleasure to have you.
You bet. Thanks, Cleo.
All right.